All right, so I literally just posted a video about how I felt like something big was coming. We've seen a lot of price drops with cameras, and then also, of course, NAB is this weekend, so there's a lot of new releases. With that being said, Blackmagic just finished their live stream, and I watched the whole thing. They had a lot of great things that is being put out there now, as far as like just entering inside the filmmaking space. A lot of things when it came to like their storage stuff and the cloud stuff. It was a lot. Everybody, or you guys that follow this channel, you guys know I'm not that technical, but at the end of the day, I like to keep up with technology in the filmmaking space, just because this is what we do. You get what I'm saying? We use these products, so it's important just to know what's happening and what's going on. But Blackmagic just released the camera that I've been anticipating, just because there's been a few rumors about this already, but they just made it official. They have released a Blackmagic PYXIS 12K. Now I don't remember them saying the price, so I'm gonna do research on what the price is. If any of you guys know the price, drop it down in the description below. But if this price is under $6,000, I'm getting this camera, right? Like, I don't want to overreact and say I'm going to get this camera, because one thing that I started to implement is when something new drops or something like this drops, I try to give myself time to really just reflect and see if this is something that is like the best move for me. But a lot of you guys know I've been talking about how I'm in the market for a different camera. I've been using the Sony FX6 for about a year now, and I do really like the camera, but there are some things about the camera that I don't like. I really wish that I was able to have the raw capabilities. And one thing that Blackmagic said inside of this webinar that has me very, very intrigued, I'm interested to see how it's gonna work, is they just did an update to their continuous autofocus. So now it looks like they might be implementing some form of autofocus. I don't feel like it's gonna be on the level of Sony and Canon and some of these other providers, but even if it's halfway decent, that's all we need. Because to be honest, most of my projects, I'm not really using autofocus. The only time I'm using autofocus is when I'm doing like corporate videos. Maybe it's like an event and I just need the camera just to, you know, track someone speaking, or something like this where I'm doing a YouTube video. But all in all, I'm very, very excited about this news. Now, I do think we're gonna get a lot of groundbreaking things this weekend, so I don't want to overreact to this, but this is very, very compelling. The thing that makes this camera compelling is, yes, it's not as good as they released a body only Ursa Cine 12K, and I can't remember the price of that, but this camera is not that. That camera has way more frame rates, so you can shoot at way higher frame rates and stuff. But for this camera to be able to accomplish, to be able to achieve the similar amount of like image quality as far as sensor, up to around 60 frames per second, which is all I pretty much use for literally all of my work. I'm rarely ever like using high frame rates. Now, again, I'm newer into my filmmaking journey. I'm about 5 years in, so later on that might be things that I'm doing more, but right now, currently, as we speak, the clients that I have, the kind of work that I do, that's just not the kind of work that I'm doing. But again, Blackmagic dropped it. I want to know you guys' thoughts on what you're thinking, just because I know it's crazy. Now, if we know how this works. So they said that it is going to come out around July, but they said that about the PYXIS and it took forever. I think people started getting their camera in like fall, and now they're dropping another camera already. So we know it's probably going to take a while. I'm pretty sure it's going to be pre-ordered a lot. And yeah, the filmmaking space, the camera space is getting crazy, right? For everybody that's in the market for cinema cameras and stuff like that, is getting crazy. Like the FX6 has been around for a long time. The Red Komodo has been around for a little while. Blackmagic and this PYXIS thing, they've been doing their thing. We have Canon, they released the C80s and the C400. So there's a lot of options for everyone that's out there trying to get into narrative work or documentaries or commercials, and you want something that's above the mirrorless camera. There's a lot of options now. The Red Komodo had a price drop to around $3,000, and I feel like they were anticipating something like this, and that's why they did that. But just on paper, Blackmagic is knocking it out of the park. And to be honest, I had the Blackmagic 6K Pro, also the 6K and the 4K. So I use the Blackmagic for majority of my filmmaking time, like all the time that I spent just becoming a filmmaker and just learning everything. I spent a lot of time with Blackmagic cameras, and I recently switched over to Sony about 2 years ago. So I was using Blackmagic and Canon cameras before that. So I know, one thing I do know is that Blackmagic image quality is really a thing. Like, a lot of people talk about how you get a lot of bang for the amount of money you put into it. But in general, like Blackmagic really does have an amazing color science. It has so much flexibility, right? Like you can get more things wrong on a shoot day and be able to fix it in post because you have that raw capability and all that. It's more forgiving. With Sony, you have to really be on point with your settings and everything the day that you shoot because it does not have as much flexibility in post. That's one thing that I really wish I had with my Sony cameras. I really wish that I was able to shoot raw, and I know that you can do like the raw licenses, but it's not really the same. You get what I'm saying? So this is something I'm looking forward to. I want to know you guys' thoughts, not to make this video too long, but yeah, it's gonna be more stuff dropping, and I'm gonna just be dropping videos as they come. But let's get to it. I'm out.